I just want to shout out. Me and Justin have known each other 5 years.
Something like
5
that.
years. And pretty soon after meeting me, we're a little different. I don't know if you can tell, but a little different. He bought me this shirt, I think it was a Facebook ad.
Yeah, it was a
for
Facebook,
you.
one of those stupid Facebook ads, and I did not have a kid, so I was like, whatever. But I know a guy who's got 7,000 kids. I think at the time he only had like 42, but now he's got 75 or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I had a ton of kids, and so this shirt seemed to be good because it was funny. And I think it was like $19. So I am one of those guys that, like, if I see something that I find funny for my friend, I'll buy it. I'll waste $20. I don't give a shit. And I saw this and I was like, fuck it. But then it came in. You need to like stand up so they can
It's
see
like
that it's
off-center.
they fucking printed. Yeah, there's more on this fucking side of it than on the other side of it. And then I have Ink Poison Apparel. It's a new brand I found. I'm not affiliated with them. I just really like them. They take tattoos and turn them into t-shirts, and they're just super cool looking. It's very sick. This one is called Self-Disgust.
I'll say I wore my shirt to Disneyland because I love trying to be ironic, but I just look like a corny dad.
Look like a corny dad.
shirt.
Did you have the ears on?
Probably. I do have a pair. So thank you, Justin. I bought you that Cool Ranch Dorito Snuggie.
It's very comfortable.
Yes.
I enjoy comfort. I am like a hobbit, but not short. I'm a creature that enjoys comfortable things and food and drink,
Why does my
including sugar-free Red Bull. Only 10 calories, but it's got all these sweet chemicals in it.
caffeines?
I took a nap for the first time in months in the office right before we came over here. And I went to a different plane of existence, I'm pretty sure, because I woke up and wasn't sure what my name was. Yeah, I don't take naps usually, and they send me straight to the shadow realm.
Welcome to episode 24 of Tangled Rights. Let's give our spiel.
This is not legal advice. If you need legal advice, consult your attorney in whatever specific field, unless you live in the city or state of Las Vegas and Nevada and or Kansas. Not a state, but also a city. Or backwards. We can help you there, but this is not intended to be legal advice. Don't listen to us. We're idiots.
And today, I don't know if we'll give much, even general legal advice. There's a lot going on in the news that we've seen.
Won't stop.
The news cycle doesn't stop. The first big one is we want to talk about the Menendez brothers because, as we all know, Kim Kardashian is out there changing lives.
Hey, she passed the baby bar, whatever that means.
I don't think she did.
I thought she did pass the baby bar.
I don't think she did. I think she failed it.
No.
So
there was. I'm positive. How much you want to bet? You want to bet $1?
Yes.
All right, I got $1 in the truck.
I'll bet you $20 even. So
20 to 1? Awesome. I'll take those
no,
odds.
20 on your 20. Come on.
No, I said 1.
Okay. So Kim Kardashian actually has done a lot of things promoting, innocence projects. And this is one that she wrote an article about recently.
Kim Kardashian passed the baby bar exam on her 4th attempt in December of 2021.
So I've never taken the baby bar is something specific for California, which is where she has found her home near Hollywood.
She failed this exam 3 times in 2 years. But got back up and studied harder each time, she says.
I think it's supposed to be a summary of the first year of law school, basically. So if you can pass the first year of law school, you can pass this baby bar exam. That's my understanding. I don't know. I don't practice in California. You can study under another lawyer to become a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And so she obviously has a lot of passions in her life. And
well, I mean, when you're loaded and don't have to work, you got to find something to do.
You have to pay each time you take it? You have to pay each time you take it?
Oh, yeah.
that probably means nothing to her.
The craziest one, hold on. There was a dude out of California, most bar attempts. And I want to say it was 40 something.
The bar exam is only administered in every state I know
47
twice
times.
a year.
47 times.
Twice a year, so that'd be 24 years of taking the bar exam for this guy.
Maxi Flyer, Flyer, Maxcy, odd, never gave up and finally passed the bar exam on his 48th attempt. 48th try.
Hey.
In 1991. He'd been taking it for 25 years. Bro, I've taken that test 2 times. Once for Nevada, passed it first try. Once for Kansas, UBE, passed it first try. I will never take it again. There is one very limited exception because I think Florida is an awesome state. I want to go down there and wrestle swamp puppies and go yoink 2 Burmese pythons out of the Everglades.
Okay.
And
do that without taking the bar.
I know that. But if I want a job where I can like make money to facilitate,
Sure.
yoinking and swamp puppy wrangling,
Yeah.
perhaps I might have to do some lawyering. That would be the one exception. Outside of that, I'll never do it again unless it was in another country and I could just take a test, but nobody else will let us do that. So fuck us.
So Kim Kardashian wrote an article about how she believed that the Menendez brothers should be released from prison. So
She wrote it?
Shout out to her. It was authored and credited to her. I don't know who the ghostwriters or assistant authors might have been or could have been or were or not were, but AI. It was. I read it, and it was amazing. So this week. Let me cut to my hat, Q, because the Menendez father, who was killed by the sons, was from Havana, Cuba. And once upon a time, Havana had a minor league baseball team called the Havana Sugar Kings.
Have you ever heard of Sammy Sosa?
He's from the Dominican Republic.
Whatever.
I'm pretty sure he's from the Dominican Republic.
He's DR. I thought he was Cuban.
Maybe he is.
There are a lot of Cuban baseball players, though,
so
right? Cuban, like they're good at baseball.
Yeah. No, there are.
Isn't it like American Samoa, where like there's a disproportionate number of people from this background for whatever reason? Like American Samoans are 40 some times more likely to be in the NFL than like a regular American.
There's something like that. I mean, Cuba and Dominican Republic don't have crazy populations, not like the U.S.
I'm pretty sure they have
size-wise
less of an issue
size-wise
of performance-enhancing supplements.
So Havana, Cuba. This is a bag of sugar that is a king. He's a sugar king. This is from the 50s.
I get it.
This is old. So back in the day, they let Havana, Cuba have an international league, minor league baseball team.
Damn.
And then some relations with Cuba went south.
Don't know what.
I don't know what that's about, but this
Whatever.
is the minor league hat of the day that I bought.
Oh, it was that time that we tried to stage a coup in their country and they Bay of Pigs. That one. Shout out CIA. Thanks for ruining the world.
Who knows? Who knows what happened?
Oh, also, I am not suicidal in any way, shape, or form. My life is dope. I have a son. He's awesome. I love him. I'm going to see him grow up. Not interested in killing myself. Got you guys.
So if
try one.
If something happens.
Yeah.
Only 2% of active MLB players are from Cuba.
2% are from Cuba.
70% from the U.S., 11% from DR, and 7% from Venezuela.
Okay, that still seems like a lot.
Sammy Sosa is Dominican.
Considering there's 50 states, and I doubt that 2% of the remaining 70-some% come from one state.
Well, no, you were just saying Cubans are more likely to get in.
It was DR people then, because they're 11%. That's pretty high.
30% of MLB players are Latino.
Okay. So maybe that's what I was thinking. I knew that there was some number. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Did you see this picture that came out of Sammy Sosa a few years ago? I'm going to have Austin put this up too.
What the
How does he look so white now?
Is this like a
I don't know.
Michael Jackson kind of thing? Or?
It's looking like it.
That sucks, man.
Austin, put that up.
That sucks super hard. I mean, whatever. Do what you want. Let your free flag fly, right? But like, I would imagine that like that whole skin bleaching process doesn't feel good, and it seems like you probably, if you're whatever's wrong internally with your image or how you feel, that you feel like you need to change your ethnicity, like, and you're not happy with how you are. That makes me sad about that for that person. I wish that they felt better.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Maybe it's a medical thing.
Maybe
I don't know.
I could just be an asshole. Well, that's true. Also,
Well, I know that, yeah, but not. He doesn't want to kill himself.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm happy.
So, going back to these Menendez brothers, this was the only time I could have
They
thought
shot their dad in the face
of
with a
including Havana as a hat, and I got that hat just because I thought the logo was cool, colors are cool.
I do like the Sugar King.
Sure, shut up, dude.
What?
You're crazy.
Sugar literally is in all of our food. You ever had ketchup in another country? Have you? You've been to other countries. You ever have ketchup down there?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll try it next time you go somewhere.
Okay, cool.
We got sugar in our ketchup.
We got sugar and everything. That's true. English food tastes very bland because they don't.
That's
load
because
it
it's just
full of sugar.
beans and like rain
beans
and
for
mud.
breakfast.
Isn't that what they eat? I think so. Right? What is it? England. Bad food, worst weather.
Bad teeth.
I think they fixed that. I think that they've come around on that.
Oh, okay.
The English dudes that I know, like shout out to George. He's got great teeth.
We're going to talk about a George today.
Yeah, George.
George.
King George.
So, with the help of Kim Kardashian, anything is possible. And
All
the prosecutors in the Menendez Brothers case have filed to try and resentence these brothers. So next month, a judge will be hearing kind of a petition for rehearing. And there's some new evidence that it's based off of, but mostly it's more just the fairness and or unfairness.
I can do all things through Kim Kardashian, who strengthens me.
If people want to see the press conference, it's uploaded on your YouTube.
Sure.
Press conference for what?
For yesterday, then announced.
Oh,
There's a press conference from the prosecutor's office.
Sure. Check our YouTube. I found it interesting that this time, when the prosecutor wants something to change, it gets changed
Instead of the Missouri one.
instead of the guy who was murdered by the government, by the state of Missouri.
Well, yeah. Okay. So these boys have now been
They're
behind.
men. They're grown men.
They were.
They're in their 50s.
Sorry, we talk about them as the Menendez brothers, and
They're still brothers, but
All
they can
the-
be men.
all the media I've watched recently about them makes them look really young, very interesting, like just young kids. They seem very infantilized. The accusation is that they were sexually assaulted by their father, who was born in Havana, Cuba, raised in Havana, Cuba.
Did not play baseball, though.
Did not play baseball, but became a famous record label executive and had a lot of money.
I've got a picture of them here. They look like,
They look like men now.
they're grown men.
for sure.
They both got good smiles.
They do have
They seem happy.
good smiles, and yeah. So it's getting reheard based on more. There was an additional allegation made against the father of sexual assault. He had tried to sign a Hispanic boy band, Spanish singing boy band, and one of those boy band members accused him of also sexually assaulting him. The father sexually assaulting the boy
Maná?
band member. It was not Maná. No, I looked it up before, but I can't
Maná
remember.
is so good.
It's not Maná. It
yeah,
was. It was the
mi
band
amor.
with Ricky Martin.
Menudo.
Ricky Martin came from a band named Menudo. Yeah.
Isn't menudo a food?
It is also a food, yes. Yes, tripa. Yeah. Intestines. Soup with intestines. Usually on the weekends at those Mexican places. You can
Austin,
find
do you
that.
like to eat guts?
Okay. So next month, there's no guarantee that anything's going to change. It's going to be up to the judge. The prosecution's moving for this. Obviously, the defense wants this, and what they're moving for is just to make them eligible for parole. Right
Sure.
now, as it sits, they are not eligible for parole.
Because they're doing life without.
So they're doing life without possibility of parole. So it would be put in front of the parole board. So the prosecution is kind of just trying to punt this to the parole board.
Make it somebody else's problem and fault.
Yeah, so they're doing what as you get more deep into doing criminal law, I always see this bell curve, and on the very low end, you say these low IQ people say, "Oh, this is just about putting people away," and then people in the middle of the IQ say, "No, it's about justice." But the more I'm getting, closer to knowing more about criminal law, no, it's just a business putting people away.
It's about money. The whole thing's about money.
There is so many decisions in the prosecutor's office that feel like it's about image and just having the trust of the community rather than actually doing justice. So it seems like in this case, okay, no, the community thinks it's okay for these boys, men, to be out of jail now, or at least, have the possibility of parole. Because that's the overwhelming comments on everything is, oh, they were sexually assaulted. So this is kind of the Me Too era, maybe that now that we're
Maybe a little.
I guess we're in the post Me Too era, maybe even.
It'll never be post.
I'm not saying
it's always
post
gonna be
after.
serious.
We're not in the heat of it though,
Sure,
right?
yeah,
The
it's
heat of
not-
it was a few years
not
ago.
every day.
It's now just.
Yeah, it's just it's a way of life now.
I'm not trying to say it was post as an after. It's
I know,
It's
I was just
more.
being a
I don't
smartass.
know what to call it then. But
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's like this didn't exist, kind of like civil rights, right? Like the civil
Yes.
rights movement was the movement to give everyone civil rights. The Me Too movement seems to me to bring attention to people committing assaults on other people, and it was getting put under the rug, especially in these other organizations. Like you look at Weinstein, and in Hollywood, it was well known apparently that everybody was having to get groped to get roles or whatever.
P Diddy is a new
Sure.
one coming out.
Yeah, it's.
And there's not people like defending P Diddy at all either. So it's
I think what people are doing is they're circling the wagons to try to get the hell away from him. Exactly. Austin's going like this. He's like, get away. He's like, I was part of it, but I'm not getting pulled down with your ship.
Yeah.
I'm not letting that undertow get me.
So my wording's bad there. We're not post Me Too, but we're, I guess, in this elongated Me Too part where
Yeah,
now people
just-
are believing, hey, yes, men can be assaulted, can be sexually assaulted. That was part of the TV series I watched. Was there were supposedly men in the jury room that said, "Oh, they would have just fought it," which is not necessarily
Yeah,
true. If they
would.
they were
Yeah, a boy would fight. Sure.
coached
That's-
into it,
Or
coerced
it
into
started
it over
when they were
years.
fucking 7.
Yes, and that's the accusation is that it started when they were that young. So
Man, it's so good I've never been in a jury. Because the first time somebody said something like that, I might just slap a grown man. I might just slap him right in the face. I wouldn't even be like, well, sir, I disagree with you respectfully. No, I just, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail today. Whack.
well,
Right? Like, fucking what?
that's part of it. I mean, this new.
It's like those dickheads that said that if a woman's raped, there was a Missouri lawmaker that was like, if she's raped, her body will shut down.
and not yeah.
So she can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
What? Slap. Like, that's another one where I'd slap a politician. Whatever.
Let's slap people. More people deserve to be slapped.
Decriminalize simple battery. Seriously. Not bat with substantial with a deadly weapon. None of that. Just simple battery. If 2 people get into it and I want to slap you and you want to slap me back, it shouldn't be a crime.
Isn't there like
Open hand laws.
Oh.
isn't there like some states now
Some states
allow-
have mutual combat. Yeah. And if you and I decide to get into a good old scrap out in the playground, guess what? Nobody's
A
business.
skerfuffle or
Kerfuffle?
yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever.
I don't know. Whatever. When I slap Austin for saying something stupid, like asking me what time I'm going to get to his recording studio when I'm in the middle of a nap, do not bother me.
So the Menendez brothers, we will revisit that case, and so
Hopefully, justice is done.
parole board hearings are different.
Whatever that is.
We don't know what they look like in California or this specific county or what.
Isn't it LA County?
They were in Beverly Hills, which I don't know my counties in California. We'll go with LA County, sure. We'll go with that. So, yeah. We're going to move on to another case that's been in the news this week. We've been talking about Sarah Boone for months.
Okay. Sarah Boone, how's she going?
We've been talking about Sarah Boone for months. They're doing closing arguments like right now, as we're speaking on Nevada Day. Happy Nevada Day. Last Friday in October is always Nevada Day that we celebrate. We became a state October 31st, Halloween, during the Civil War because the North liked the silver that we had. That's why we call ourselves the Silver State. I grew up and went to, elementary school here. We learn about our state, and that's one of the big things. Home means Nevada. Home means the hills.
They like silver?
They like silver
What
because
about gold? Do they like that too?
they can't make as many bullets out of gold, so they love the silver for weaponry.
I thought
So
you
we
made-
became a state in
I thought you used the silver to buy lead to make bullets.
whatever they did with. I don't
Whatever
know.
they did when
I
they
don't
did
know
it,
in the
they were a
Civil
fan
War.
of it.
I don't know what happened.
Have you
in the
been into
Civil
any
War.
of this old silver mines? You ever been into a mine?
No.
I got to take you into a mine
We're
sometimes.
gonna go. We're gonna shoot some footage. In
We will
mines.
not be shooting anything else in the mine though, because we want to live.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
sick.
So
Being alive is dope.
we'll
Not sad at all.
we'll talk more about the Sarah Boone case in the weeks that come because there's a lot that's going to come out about it. But one of the hilarious things about it is that they actually filed a motion so that Sarah could have chips and snacks during the trial.
Hey, you're not you when you're hungry.
Yes. And this is just insane. Like, I think if one of our criminal defendants told us that they wanted that during the trial, we just look at them and just, you got to be kidding me, right?
It depends. The trial that we're in right now in Judge Peterson's courtroom, she specifically told everybody that we could have drinks and snacks.
Well,
I mean, she didn't say it like that,
this,
but she said, hey, if anybody needs water, if you need something to eat, as long as it's not loud, you can have it.
Sarah Boone's in custody.
Well,
Now, your current
defendant is not in
is out of custody, right?
He is out of
So
custody. Yes.
she's looking. I guess if you had some kind of low blood sugar issues, yeah, I could
sure.
make a good argument for
You
that.
got hypoglycemia.
But
That's a medical
this
condition.
was just because she's crazy and has proved that she's crazy and difficult the entirety of this criminal case. And man, we're going to get more into that about
But
her testimony.
Maybe
but
it's a tactical decision. She's trying to really ham up that sentencing that she's insane so that she gets it knocked down. Like, look, Judge.
they didn't even argue that in the trial. There's no insanity defense. There's the battered spouse, which is
It's got to be a form of some kind of mental.
tangential. It's not the same, but
No.
that's they kept that as their defense. So we'll talk more about that in her testimony, and we want to see jurors' reactions to see first if she's guilty or not, or found guilty or not. It's different. I don't know if she's guilty or not.
No one will ever know. That is between her, the dude that she locked in the suitcase,
That's in her brain too,
and
because there's a mens rea component there, which means your
Allah.
mental state.
or Brother Joseph or whoever. There was the only ones that know.
Whoever. Yes.
Those three people.
She said she.
Not sad.
I'm not going to get into it.
We're not
We're
talking
going to
about
save
it
this.
today.
We're going to save
Listen, come back for more of this.
Ooh,
if you want
teaser.
this. Oh, are we
that. No.
nip slip?
So we talked
We'll
about.
do anything for views. You want to see Shane debase himself? Just wait.
No.
Tune in next week.
No. So we had a Metro Sergeant we talked about, Kevin Menon. I believe that's how you say his last name.
He's a real cool guy.
Menon. We talked about him.
And by cool guy, I mean D-bag.
He was shoulder checking people on the strip
In plain clothes.
to entice them to fight so that then they could be arrested.
So they could be searched.
And it was mostly black men.
Basically, he was
that they were
trying to
doing
check
it
him
on.
for drugs, and he's like, "Oh, that guy! I bet you I can get him to punch me in the face." You know what I wish would have happened? Because he's doing it anyway, right? And it came out now. I wish one of those dudes would have been like a Golden Gloves boxer, and he would have done that, and he would have just smoke checked his ass, just whack. That would have been nice. Because then the conviction would get vacated anyway, and old boy would have gotten some immediate justice in the form of that split lip stuff. What's that line? Went from talking that shit to broke nose. Like that.
What lines are you even coming
It's a
up
rap
with?
song. I'm gonna find out.
All right. So Kevin Menon, he's been facing criminal charges, felonies for. We talked about. I don't even remember what it was. It was imprisonment. I don't know. It was something we had never heard of before. Some kind of criminal charges. Well, I guess they got some kind of search warrant on his house, on his computer, and guess what they found on his computer? Did you see this, Austin? Yeah. They found some CSAM. Is that what they call it? CSAM? Child sexual. What's it?
Child porn?
Child porn.
Cheese pizza.
Child porn. No.
Pizzagate.
This is the legal
Is that what you're talking about? Oh.
child sexual abuse material.
Okay,
That's what it
CSAM.
stands for.
Got it.
So on his
That's-
computer, they found some very serious imagery, videos, some very gross stuff. And so
Put him
now,
under the jail?
now he's facing some new charges. Yeah.
Good.
Oh my gosh. It's so
Not good that he had it, but good they caught him.
yeah.
Forget
no,
that,
I
dude.
know. Like, man. So he was in court this week with his attorney.
Who's his attorney?
His attorney was Dominic Gentile,
Gentile.
who's a famous attorney in town because
He was a mob lawyer.
no, more than that. He came and taught me a class at UNLV Law School because he's a famous Las Vegas attorney. He got in trouble with the state bar here, and he appealed it to the U.S. Supreme Court and won, and they overturned his I don't know if he got a reprimand, whatever he got from the state bar. So he's the first attorney ever to have his reprimand, his punishment from the bar overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. So he's a pretty famous attorney. He's a cool
there's
guy.
an article on Duke School of Law.
Very, very smart guy. So that's who this disgraced police sergeant has as his attorney. The prosecution has brought in Hamner, who we talked about as the prosecutor in the Robert Tellis murder trial. He was there at their bail hearing. So they're trying to establish bail. Prosecution asked for $250,000 cash bail. Defense asked for, I don't know, 25 or 50. Judge Nadia Wood met in the middle and asked for a $100,000 cash bail. So that's what's going on now. How a criminal case works is the charges are in the beginning, and then person could be held. He's going to be held in custody, and he's being held in isolation, away from Gen Pop, away from the general populace, because he is a police officer, is what it was said on the news. And I guess
They probably
don't like cops.
probably not, but they also probably put people that are accused of possessing child pornography in PC anyway, protective custody, because I don't think you can put anybody who's involved in that among the hierarchy.
No.
That's at the bottom.
Yes.
They tend to get stabbed.
What you hear on the news about, like you hear this in the media, that certain people in jail are looked down upon, and that is actually accurate.
Yes.
We've seen that. It's not going to be accurate every single time, but that's actually accurate. So he's a cop. He is in kind of protective, solitary confinement, not solitary confinement, but excluded. So kind of an interesting case that we'll be tracking more about. Guy seems like scum from appearances.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the evidence yet. I'm sure he'll say it was planted, right? Something like that.
I didn't do it.
Who knows? Who knows what he's going to say? But that's an interesting negative Vegas news. I have a very positive Vegas news, though. I want to shout out a group that I found online called the Vegas Justice League.
Okay.
And their goal is to donate money to look into cold cases. So something that came into our news recently was there was a cold case of a murder in 1994 of a woman named Melanie White. They had no suspects. They didn't know any information. They just knew that there was some DNA on her that came from a male suspect, and that was all they knew. They found her body out in the desert, and that was it. So now, about 30 years later, almost to the date, they were able to test some DNA that was found thanks to the Vegas Justice League, who donates this money. You can find their website just by Googling Vegas Justice League or vegasjusticeleague.org. And they accept donations to try and help donate money to test this old DNA. That's basically my understanding. You can look at the website yourself. They have some people running it, and they have some partners that try and help this out. But specifically, this case was solved because of the DNA. Murder has no statute of limitations, but the assailant died from COVID during 2020. So this becomes incredibly interesting to me, how somebody can live having known that they committed a murder for 30 years and done nothing. Is that something that a person just kind of puts deep down inside of him and just buries, or what? I don't know. But since we're in the world of criminal law, we like to see this positive stuff. It provides maybe some closure for the family. I don't really know. I
think that there's got to be some level of peace that you get knowing that it's at least been exposed, that now we know the answers, especially if they were like your daughter, your brother, your sister or something. In this case, it would have been a sister. I would imagine I'd want to know. I've always been the kind of person that I tend to ask the questions I don't want to know the answers to. And And in this situation, I think it might make me feel better on some level. But, then in this situation where there's not able to actually be any direct justice because the person has already passed away, I wonder if it's a little hollow, but I don't think most of these situations are going to be this way. If this person wouldn't have gotten COVID, I'm assuming they might still be alive. So maybe they were able to find it out. And if all that money goes to help one family, it's enough, right?
Yeah.
Because money is money, but
that's
peace is something else.
And this man could have still been alive. It could have.
It just shook out that way.
It could have brought him to conviction.
I wonder now maybe if it leads to other, like those type of people. My thought is if you kill somebody and dump their body in the desert, it might not be a one-off.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Maybe.
And sometimes in the news, it seems to be that way, that things are uncovered once you pull on that string a little bit. So, I'm excited, and I think, as we grow, we'll look into donating to the Vegas Justice League.
It definitely seems like something that'd be worth donating to.
And help them out. But really good website. You can check out their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Mm-hmm. We haven't contacted them yet. Maybe we'll get them on someday to the podcast to talk more about their project and kind of the things they're trying to unearth. But these things cost money, and should the tax dollars go to that or something else? Who knows?
No.
Who knows?
No, our roads need to be under construction 24 hours a day.
We need to pay more billionaire sports owners to bring their teams here, right?
No. We just need more traffic cones that prevent me from driving down Maryland Parkway at 7:00 in the morning when I'm trying to get to work. I need that drive to take an extra 15 minutes every day.
Good.
So that I can waste, an hour and 15 minutes Monday through Friday, please. Whoever it is that's responsible for the city planning in the Las Vegas city, you need to do better at your job.
He wants to live.
I want to live. I'm not sad.
Okay, this next story is about the Kansas-Missouri border. A guy born in Overland Park. You know where that is? Suburb of Kansas City.
OP? Johnson County? I know that place.
It's on the Kansas side.
It is.
So most of Kansas City is in Missouri. Some of it's in Kansas, actually. But
I think, most of the... Really, it sucks to say this. The good stuff is on the Missouri side.
the cool downtown area is in Missouri.
But Kansas is better than Missouri fundamentally.
Yes.
So, we all know that.
This man, Ken McElroy, when I tell you the story, Austin, I'm sure you might have heard of this, but Ken Rex McElroy, born June 1st, 1934, was born in Overland Park, Kansas, although spent most of his time and lived in Skidmore, Missouri.
Of course.
Skidmore, isn't that the whole state?
Yes.
Nah. So this guy was a town bully, Ken McElroy.
Sounds like a real D-bag.
Absolutely.
No relation to Nick Skidmore, who's awesome.
I don't know who that is.
He's a dude from Missouri that I went to college with.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know him.
Nice guy. And his little brother and I raged in the August Burns Red Pit in 2007 in Bonner Springs at Warped Tour. It was awesome.
Fun. Good for you guys.
Dude, that was clutch.
There you go. McElroy was the 15th of 16 children who lived between Kansas and the Ozarks.
They did not have television.
Yeah.
Much like...
oh, goodness. So McElroy was a big jerk, just a big jerk. He had, this is aside, he had 10 children with different women, and he was accused of raping and beating all of his different wives and women. He was known because he was charged for arson, assault, and statutory rape. And he was released for that. And then in 1976, he was accused of shooting a farmer twice.
Didn't kill him, though.
Didn't kill him. He came to trial, and he was acquitted because the farmer that was shot had hidden his own petty criminal conviction that he had more than 30 years previous, was part of it. And because McElroy had two friends that said, no, he was with us.
Excuse me.
The farmer said that McElroy had parked outside his house about 100 times during the pendency of the case. So this guy just seemed like a jerk. And then one time, right before he was killed, he attacked a store clerk who was liked in the town, and he attacked him.
For what?
for no reason. There's no real explanation as to why.
Did this guy have some kind of mental problem?
He must have.
His behavior sounds slightly unhinged.
Yeah. No, it does. So he had shot this guy in the neck, but he had survived. Okay. And so he was arrested and charged with attempted murder. He was convicted, but he was freed on bail pending his appeal for an attempt murder, which is crazy.
Man, the 70s and the 80s would have been just a wild time. I imagine everybody's in there just ripping fatties, just like, you want to let him out?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. So he had friends, but he was just known as a town bully, and a lot of people didn't like him.
How'd that go for him?
And he even took a rifle to the local bar, pending his appeals. Yeah.
To do what?
Yeah. Just because
hanging out with my rifle at the bar that I drink at. I'll wash myself with a rag on the stick.
the town kind of came together, and on the morning of July 10th, 1981, all these people were kind of together. And then McElroy came in his pickup truck. Okay.
And he never went anywhere again.
He was outside the bar, and McElroy's truck was shot up, and he ended up dying. And so the police did an investigation into it.
Good.
And everybody that was there in the scene said, no, I didn't see anything. I didn't hear any gunshots. I didn't see any gunshots.
Weird how that happens sometimes.
Yeah. It was a trial by public, right?
That was the court of public opinion.
So,
I mean, we had something kind of similar happen in Sedan right after I graduated. I didn't get to witness this stuff, but there was a family that moved into town, and they were only there for a few weeks. They were from a bigger city. I want to say it was Tulsa or something like that, which Tulsa has a population of about 1 million, and Chautauqua County only had a population of about 3,300. In the 3 weeks that they were there, their kids, like 14 and 15, the two boys, the older ones, broke into the ranch restaurant, burgled it, and everybody knew that they did it. They were working on figuring that out. There was this kid named Bob who worked at the Pizza Hut that was like a very well-liked kid. He was special needs, sweet guy. Nobody ever had a problem with him. He was young. He was in high school. He just worked at the Pizza Hut. They beat the ever-living shit out of him one day when he was walking home for nothing. They did something else like that. It was like 3 or 4 things that they did in this real short period. And then everybody just kind of meets, goes up by the house and is like, hey, you're going to leave. You're going to pack your shit and you're going to get out. You're going to get out by Monday. And if not, there's going to be some problems. They were gone on Monday. Weird. Small town stuff. It's weird, but sometimes it's effective.
That's small town stuff. The only thing I want to finish off with this is McElroy's wife ended up filing a wrongful death lawsuit against the town. And like we said, in Nevada, you don't have to claim how many damages. A lot of other states you see in the news, they ask for a certain amount. She filed a $5 million wrongful death lawsuit. And allegedly this...
She's sad she can't get beat anymore.
...came to a settlement of $17,600 with no admission of guilt. So
nice.
Yeah.
We did it, but nobody knows we did it.
$17,000 is... Hey, this would,
well, in the 80s, 17 grand's that's not an insignificant amount of money.
How much money would it have cost them to go to trial? You know,
probably more, but like 17 grand back then, you could buy a house and finance a college fund, probably, right?
Well, yeah. 1984, yeah. So
1984. It's like what we're living right now.
Yes. So an interesting story about don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
Be a good person.
Try not to be an a-hole.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hannah, for cussing so much this time.
And how much time we got?
About 20 minutes.
Okay.
Speaking of Las Vegas
do you have
news,
a question?
I do have. I put it in. So 17,000 in 1984 was about. Hold on. You mean
17,000 in 1984 is the equivalent to.
I'm going to say it's probably close to 90. What do you got? Pick a number.
No, he said his. He said what 90?
Yeah, I said 90.
How much did we say?
17,000.
Oh, I'd go 60.
51,000.
51,000.
Dang it.
So triple.
No, that's like
About triple. It's worth about triple.
You could buy a house for that back then, though, right?
Yeah.
50,000 for defense of a trial. That's about,
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's not that much money.
Did you feel the earthquake last night?
No, I did not. I was not awake. I
early this morning.
read about it. Yeah, 2 a.m. or 3
More
a.m.
gifts from California. Thank you. Please keep your shit to yourself.
Keep your fault lines fault-free.
And
I don't know.
your citizens.
Keep them away from
Keep them.
Nevada.
We don't want
please.
them anymore.
Okay.
We have enough.
Some two minor things I wanted to talk about were a couple athletes were found arrested. Jay Cutler. Do you know Jay Cutler?
I've heard of them.
Old quarterback for the Bears and the Broncos for a short period, but mostly for the Bears. He was.
What did he do?
He had a DUI.
Oh.
He had a DUI. He's famous because he married Kristen Cavallari, who was on Laguna Beach, the show.
I don't know what that is or who that is.
When
Is she hot?
When we were teenagers, there was a reality TV show about Laguna Beach that also featured Lauren Conrad, LC.
She's not bad looking.
So they're divorced now. But
She revealed 3 days ago why she walked away from Jay Cutler.
oh, he seemed like a loser. But
She's only 37. We're almost the same age.
yeah, I know.
She's like
so
she's
when
a
we
year
were
younger than me.
teenagers, it was a very popular show. Maybe not in Kansas, but in
No,
Las Vegas at least.
we didn't have shows like that.
So another one I wanted to talk about
We
is
like swamp people.
a basketball player named Cameron Payne.
Cameron Payne. That
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
I don't think you're going to know who he is, honestly.
Did he play for the Sixers? Bulls.
Why?
No, it's not who I thought it was. Never mind.
All right. So
Knicks point guard.
him and his girlfriend had an issue.
Okay.
Cops responded. Okay.
How tall is he? He's only 6'3". He's little.
No, he's not that big of a guy. And then he identified himself by a different name, Terry Johnson, when they came.
Okay.
So he got arrested because he gave a false name to a police officer.
Stupid.
And the cops on the camera said the same thing. This is the dumbest reason to get arrested. So why didn't he just give the real name to them? Is the question.
I see it right here as a quote. It says, quote, dumbest way to get arrested.
In certain situations,
in some
yes.
situations,
and
you
it
have to.
depends. It depends on the state. It seems like Arizona had something specific.
Arizona, I'm pretty sure, is a shall, like, inform, shall tell, shall whatever.
Shall
state.
identify. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where it gets into there's no federal floor on this. So states can apply different things. Florida has some rules about giving ID to police officers when they stop you reasonably. So every state's different on some things, and this is one of those things that's a little different. And then he gave a birthday too, because they're investigating, a case, a potential case, because they were called for a domestic violence call. So it's not like they were called for no reason. So he gave a fake birthday, January 1st, 1998. And the cop said, it sounds like you just made this up, which he did. And he challenged him saying, oh, you're arresting me for giving a fake name. So unfortunately, you're giving a reason for the police to arrest you. Whether he called for the domestic violence or she called, there becomes a certain point where you have to, comply and give your information because they are allowed to ticket you and arrest you. So if you don't give them information, they're just going to take you in. So don't talk to cops doesn't mean not providing information sometimes. Okay? So you have to identify yourself, give your birthday. That's fine. It's not going to change. That's not going to change anything whether they can prove their case or not. So don't talk to cops about any subjects, anything that actually happened. You're just going to get yourself into more trouble usually. So two things that were in our news recently that.
Another thing that happened in Las Vegas within the last couple days is that for the first time in quite a while, a Las Vegas jury sentenced a man to death.
Really?
Yeah. That murder trial.
I didn't hear about this one.
Yeah, it was the 25th. This is today they updated it. Robert Brown was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend, 29-year-old Nicole Nick. He broke into their apartment, attacked her, shot and injured her mother, and shooting towards a 3-year-old girl. He had a bad history. This is the first time. There was it was when I was at the DA's office. Jonathan Van Boskirk is in the appeals division over there. They were trying to get a death penalty case to go through, but they had kind of put a moratorium on it. Even Brandon Carr didn't get the death penalty, and his case was crazy. So this is pretty wild that a jury actually imposed it. Not that it'll actually happen, but It's pretty crazy. That happened.
This is
this
back
week.
on October 9th, and the article is just coming out right now, huh? Wow. So a little under the radar, a murder here, but
Yeah, nuts. Las Vegas, lots of stuff happening, whether it be earthquakes or death penalties.
well, who knows if that's actually means he'll be convicted or not.
Well, it's whether or not it'll be imposed.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Let's get that listener question. My brain's obviously not working. So
So the listener question this week is, what is the purpose of bail and what do bail bondsmen do?
Okay, so the purpose of bail is to ensure two things. It's to ensure the defendant's presence, right, in the area for the hearings, and also to provide some assurances for safety for the community. Bail is set for a number of reasons, a number of ways. Here we have what's called a Valdez-Jimenez hearing. At a Valdez-Jimenez hearing, that's when the attorney gets to argue that the defendant has things that make it to where monetary bail is not necessary. And so it doesn't always have to be money, right? Sometimes it can be money, like with the case where our client allegedly ran somebody over. You know, they just wanted monetary bail in the amount of $150,000, right? And so they posted it, whatever. It could also be a situation where you have PCU, which is pretrial compliance unit, so they can monitor you with a phone. There's levels, right? PCU level 1 to 4. 4 is an ankle monitor that has your GPS tracking. It tells when it's still on you, and it tells you when it's charged. All the way down
Tells you when it's dying.
Tells you when it's dying, tethered. Also, they have it all the way down to where they put an app on your phone, right? They can give you a phone of theirs, or it can be as low as this. So it's just a way to ensure they kind of know where you're at and that you're going to come back to court. But also...
that you don't skip town to the Middle East either,
correct.
right?
Yeah, you don't go to Dubai and then to Iraq. And then bail bondsmen's. So the way that bail works is, let's say they give me a $10,000 bail. I generally have to pay a percentage of that to a bail bondsman, and then they take the rest of the money and they front it to the court. Now, that money the court can take the money, or the bail bondsman can bring you forward, and then the bond is exonerated and the money goes back to them. They're basically taking a loan out on your presence. So you give them $1,000, they put the $10,000 up, you keep coming to court and doing what you do, then they get all their money back. So they basically just made $1,000 by you showing up. That's why you always see those videos of like those, what are they, like bounty hunters or whatever with security uniforms being like, get out here. You know, those guys are catching people for that. But the primary purpose is mostly presence and then safety of the community. And so the factors here are, how long have you lived in Nevada? Do you have family ties? Things like job, that sort of stuff. Whether or not you have the ability to pay monetary bail, because the whole point is like pretrial detention, because the presumption of innocence is not acceptable, right? So they need to have something to ensure your presence and to ensure community safety, but at the same time, they need the least restrictive means to ensure those things. And often I make the argument that monetary bail is not necessary, but sometimes the court differs with me on my opinions.
Yes.
The state usually argues for it.
And some people will skip.
They will. And then we get what's called a bench warrant. And then your file goes in the back of the bottom drawer. And I don't think about it until I get an email saying, hey, that person was picked up on a bench warrant. They have court tomorrow.
You don't want a warrant, and we can file something to try and quash your warrant. It's called quashing.
Quash, like squash, but take the S off.
The S. Quash means
we actually have
getting rid of.
a motion to quash this week. Or it's not a motion to quash, it's a motion for or a walkthrough for an arrest warrant.
Yeah. So
yeah, the deal here is if you do get out and you show up to your hearings, it's going to make your life dramatically easier and my life easier to do better work for you, because then I can argue to the prosecutor, look, it's been 9 months. Shane's done everything we've asked of him.
He showed up
to every single time, and he's even had a smile on his face and been so polite, such a good boy.
And I was wearing an orange suit.
And he wore an orange suit that everybody laughed at, including Judge Goodman. So give him a better deal, or else I'm going to go to trial, and you're not going to like me when I do that.
Wow. The threat.
Hell yeah.
So
they're finding out right now. What's up?
Making enemies.
Making enemies.
We'll talk more about that trial
once it's over,
which might not be next week, could be the week after. Trial sometimes is slow and painful and goes on and on and on. And the jurors don't like that either, but your evidence has to come out if it's necessary.
Never mind. I changed my mind. I'm sad and I'm going to choke myself with this microphone.
No, don't give the CIA a reason.
Oh, I'm kidding. I'm not sad. Please don't suicide me, CIA. I still don't like you, though.
We'll be back next week with
You
more
guys
information.
come back next time.
Gracias.
De nada.